Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with the whole gang here. Got Chad, Travis, Kyle. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing great.
Doing great.
That time of year, I know Kyle's really struggling over here. I'm watching him play with the computer. Kyle, you okay over there, man?
We're solid. We're golden.
We're golden. Yeah, we're all kind of running crazy today. It's the end of the year. It's very, very busy in the office right now. We got a late start today on the podcast stuff because it literally has been hair on fire since the moment we walked in the office. So we apologize in advance if we seem rushed today because I'm sure all of us have a million things on our plate right now, but we still wanted to get an episode out this week. We felt it was super important, didn't we, guys?
Absolutely.
We get a lot of feedback on this. We actually got some stats back on our podcast recently, and out of all of our marketing that we're doing, the podcast ranks number one in viewer listening. So in terms of videos and everything, like more time, average time spent listening to the episode is highest on the podcast.
It's awesome.
Nice.
So that's pretty awesome, right?
Router Bob, watch out.
Router Bob, watch out. We got Mike Chad on the...
Yeah, we're gunning for you.
Yeah. Chad's got his sights set on Bob's status. It's new sheriff in town. It's it's pretty fun. Like I said, we enjoy doing this. You know, we get a lot of feedback from our customers. We get a lot of it on the phone. Customers are telling us they listen to us, they heard about us here.
Potential new customers.
Yeah, it's really fun because we get people that call us up and talk to us that we had no idea who they were before they called us, but they said they found out about us from the podcast. So everybody out there that's listening and catching these episodes, we really appreciate your guys' feedback always.
Yep, absolutely. I had a guy reach out and say happy birthday to me and completely surprised me.
How did you know it was my birthday?
That was my first question, Jeff.
Jeff, how did you know? And he's like, I listen to your podcast. Oh, that checks out.
Then it was just laughter for 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
One of my customers calls me up and says, "Hey, it seems like they pick on you a lot. You and I probably get along because I get picked on when I'm in a group of guys as well."
We just enjoy picking on Travis. It's so easy.
It's very easy.
I'm an
like-
easy target.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm not going to pick on Travis today. I'm not going to pick on Travis. He walks in, I'm like, hey, what's up, Travis? I'm like, oh, no, it's going to start right now.
Except we call him a different name.
Yeah, we always. Yeah,
Walked right into that one.
not wrong there. But yeah, we have fun. Like I said, last week we talked a little bit about the importance of research and education in your purchases. And this week I wanted to kind of piggyback off of it a little further. I know we've been kind of piggybacking for a few weeks here, but talking a little bit about your product design and your support. When you look at product design in the world, and not only CNC product design, but your personal product design, when you're talking about cabinet makers or sign makers and these other industries, and how you design your products, and obviously the support aspect that comes with your products as well as our products. And I just think it's a good topic for us to really hit on, especially this time of year, end of the year. People are making decisions and buying products and just understanding where you're going. So, as I kind of jump into it, for me, product design is a process a designer would use to combine, obviously, the operator or the end user and their needs with what essentially the company's goals and needs are long-term for success, right? I mean, you're trying to combine. That's what to me, that's what product design is. You're trying to solve somebody's needs while solving, or by creating a demand for your own thing. You're developing a product that essentially people want. Now that said, not all companies design their own products. I mean, that's something to think about. There's a lot of companies out there right now that buy someone else's concept or products and then just resell them as a pass-through or a dealer or a distributor or whatever. Target's a perfect example of that. Target's not building anything. They're selling product, right? They're passing it through. Some people purchase a product designed by somebody for them, right? You pay a designer, they're going to design it for you. You don't, own necessarily the rights to that design or that person, but you paid for it to be designed. And sometimes you do own the rights to design because you buy the rights, but all of those things, is another thing that people can do. They buy products and pass them on and sell them as their own. And then, some people are simply just bootlegging or copying other people's, hard work. That does exist. People go out there and see, hey, that looks like a good product. I'm going to knock it off and make a subtle change to it and call it my own. They try to market it and they try to make it sound like they're improving something that already existed. But the reality is they didn't do any engineering. They literally took somebody else's hard work and time, manipulated it a little bit, and then they're trying to profit from it. And there's that exists out there. And like I said, there's a lot of things that you can get into that do affect, your decision. Depending on if you're getting into a resold product, you're getting into engineered product or whatever it is you're looking at. And, companies that design their own products, they're usually, I guess I don't know what the way to put it is. They have more forethought into the process, right? For them, the customer experience and the overall satisfaction levels they're looking for generally is at a higher level, right? You're not going to put a bunch of time into designing your own product if it's not going to be better.
Probably because when you're designing it, you're doing trial and error.
Yeah.
You're trying things, seeing if it works. If it doesn't, switch it up a little bit and keep getting it dialed in and better.
Yeah, and companies that allow someone else to design the product usually are looking for more of a cost-effective way, right? I mean, you're trying to, get what they want without the burden of actually doing the work or engineering it themselves, right? So as you said, there's not a lot of trial and error in there because you're paying, like, it's your problem. You figure it out. Just let me know when the product's done, right?
Yep.
And that can affect things. And, some companies that copy or bootleg products usually have a, reason for doing it. And it's usually strictly profit in their pocket, right? They're not usually bootlegging somebody else's product for improving it. Otherwise, they would have just developed their own product, right?
Right.
So a lot of times it's based off of profitability. They think they can do it cheaper and make money, and a lot of times the bootleg products are knockoffs and they're usually cheaply built because there's a reason why the original product costs more money, right? You go to the store and you buy, an iPhone, and iPhones typically work pretty good. I mean, they have the bugs, they all have bugs, let's be honest, but they have their stuff that works. But if you go and buy a knockoff phone, there's probably a reason why it's so much cheaper, right? It doesn't have the support behind it, the security measures, all the things that would go into it. That's just an example, but there's so many other products you can buy that are knocked off that you're giving something up for that cheaper price. And, many companies just aren't willing to invest the time or energy into product development or, really just simply because it's too expensive, right? They're in their own mind, it's better profit for them just to buy a product and resell it than it is for them to actually build a company, right? And so one thing, there's something I always try to remember is there was something that the CEO of Jaguar Land Rover, Ralph, I think Speth, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Ralph Speth, actually. But he said, and I wrote this quote down here, he said, if you think a good design is expensive, you should look at the cost of a bad design. And it's the truth. Like when you think about products in the world, like it's expensive to design good products. But try doing it cheap once. Right. It costs you a lot more money, right? Mm-hmm. Really, when you guys hear that, what comes to mind for you guys? I mean, as you guys jump in, what are you guys thinking about? And this whole topic, I mean, it doesn't just have to be that quote necessarily, but obviously with that quote, with the whole, designing of a product, Chad, you kind of mentioned a little bit about it, that the trial and error thing, but I guess anything else that you guys want to add to that a little bit?
I would say that with that quote you just mentioned, you look at it from our side of things, building our own product here in America versus the importers. I would say that's where a lot of
ShopSabre.com.
Sorry, had to do it.
I would say that's where probably a lot of that comes from that quote, because you think about it, these guys that are importing them, they're not doing much R&D and designing, if you will. I mean, they've been building a product for years and years and years, and they just tweak it over and over again. It gets much more costly on the customer side of it because the customer, unfortunately, is paying for, let's call it, their R&D. They buy a product, they switch it out in 3 to 5 years. They're obviously going to make the changes based on customers complaining about a certain thing. I mean, that's what I feel for with us. Again, you're talking about the support side of things. We built the product. We manufactured it. We support it. Obviously, you're going to have a lot better support from the guy that built it versus the guy that's just not necessarily bootlegging it, reselling it from China. That guy doesn't care as much. He's just going to tell you, I don't know what to tell you.
He's not paid to care.
I mean, it's just like he doesn't know what to tell you. He's just gonna say, "Sorry, we have this next level machine. You spent 30, you could have spent 60,000. Maybe this one will be better." I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good point. As you look at it, I think you make a good point in the whole like, you don't care about something you didn't design.
Right.
There's a level of pride there, is there not?
Absolutely.
I mean, when you design something, you build something. I mean, even your customers, right, Chad? Let's talk about that for a second here. Like, if you have a customer and you're working with him from start to finish, you probably care about his needs a little bit more than if you are passing him from one guy to another guy, right?
Exactly.
That person's ultimately going to get better service. Well, it's the same thing with a product. Like if you buy the product from me and I sold it to you, but I actually bought it from so-and-so and they sold it to me, when something goes wrong, it's just a bunch of finger pointing, right?
Yep.
You call me and I go, oh, whoa, I got to call the supplier. Like, I don't know what's going on with that, right? And then you call a supplier overseas and you wait and answer there. And there's many reasons that are excuses they're going to have, but it's like at the end of the day, are you getting taken care of during that time?
No.
No.
You just feel like you're getting passed around. I've had customers actually have previous competitors' machines, and they're so nervous to buy the product. I'll actually caution them. I want you to call me after you get your machine. Tell me if what I provided you is exactly what I told you it was. If you have a question on support and you're not sure who to contact me directly. That's the first thing that I'll tell customers because I will answer the phone every time they call me.
Nobody wants to talk to you, Travis.
That's good because I'm going to pass them along to tech support, who's actually much smarter than me, and they'll actually get their product figured out.
I'm glad you got the joke because that's where I was going with it. I was like, nobody wants to call you, and I can promise you, call the tech support guys. They're a lot better at this.
I'll answer the phone though.
Yeah, but that's the truth, and that's for myself, I feel like many people just don't realize how costly it can be to buy a product that's not fully engineered and developed. Especially if the company that developed it isn't the one doing it, or the company selling it, isn't the one that developed it, because you're buying it from somebody that doesn't have the knowledge of, as Chad said earlier, the trial and error, right? They don't know what worked or didn't work. So they don't even know why they're doing it a certain way. And, consider your own business. I want people that are listening to hear this because when you think about your own business there, many times you're looking to buy equipment because you can do it best, right? That's why you're buying equipment, is it not?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you thought somebody else could do it better than you, you'd probably pay that person to do it, right? Yep. You want to control it, though. There's some level of control. I mean, let's be honest. As business owners, that's probably why we're business owners, is it not? Because we have some level of control that we want, right? Mm-hmm. We want to control our schedule. We want to control our freedom. We want to control our financial, gains. Like, there's so many things you want to control, but there's also a lot of risks that we as business owners have to take, is there not?
Absolutely.
Expenses and employees and all the fun stuff that goes along with owning a business. But quality level is something you're trying to control when you're bringing stuff in-house. Lead times are what you're trying to control. You're trying to control, what's most important to you and your reputation. So to me, if you limit your company's ability due to the, expenses, right? Hey, we're not going to do this because we're not going to spend more money. You end up with something cheaper. Do you not?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like if I say, guys, we got to sell more machines, but we're not going to market at all. I'm going to limit how many machines you can sell. Correct?
Absolutely.
Because obviously you're only going off of what people hear or see. And in today's world, the internet's a powerful thing, right?
Right.
So if you're doing that to your company, your own personal company, right? If you're trying to build cabinets as an example, right? And you're buying the cheapest material you can buy, is your cabinets going to be the highest quality as you can possibly achieve?
Nope.
No. It's the same thing with your equipment. If you're buying cheap equipment, is it going to be the highest quality success rate? No. Like if you're expecting top quality from bottom quality product, your expectations are unrealistic. You need to be okay with, I'm going to buy a cheaper machine and expect cheaper results. You're not getting cheaper machines to do the same thing as a higher caliber machine. Exactly. That's why they're not as expensive. And there is different levels, and you do have to be okay with it. Maybe you don't need to go spend $250,000 on a machine, right? Yeah, there's a lot of machines that are $250,000, but aren't going to benefit you in your business. Now, there's a $50,000 machine that can do what a $250,000 machine does, but you're just not running 3 shifts a day, 7 days a week, right?
Right.
You're not running to the situation where you have a loader, unloader arm, and you have to do all this stuff because you're trying to turn out 200 sheets a day.
Yep.
There's certain things where, if you're turning out that kind of volume, okay, maybe you need to think of different options and benefits, right? But limiting your company simply because of you don't want to spend money, it's foolish. It's one of those things where you're going to end up in a situation where the phones are going to stop ringing, right?
Yep.
If your product quality falls apart because of what you chose to do, people aren't going to keep coming to you.
Doesn't that go back to the stepping over dollars to pick up pennies?
That's exactly it. Even right now, this time of year, you hear people saying, I need a machine, but I'm going to do it next year.
Why?
Exactly. Why? Well, I want to see what's coming.
I want to see if the price goes down magically.
Yeah, and that's what I hear too. And it's like you're literally not hearing what people are saying right now. The lowest prices of the year are upon us, and you're going to step over those dollars we're trying to give you for maybe a few pennies saved. So yeah, you lose some of the discounts, and okay, cool. Interest rates fall 0.5%. Guess what? The interest rate falling 0.5% is still less than the discounts you gave up.
And you've been without a machine that whole time?
Yeah, while your competitors are building product. Where did you win? I'll keep waiting. Nobody wins on that deal. So you have to really think about that, and the one thing for a company, being a middleman is as you're passing through the product that was designed by somebody else, for the mass markets, how are you going to take care of the customer? You can't. You don't know every customer's needs because, again, you didn't design the product for that. You designed just a mass product.
It's even harder to support if you're in a separate country that you're reselling the machine into.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
'Cause the communication's not going to be as good.
But the time zones aren't even the same.
It's
Like, right? You bought the machine from a reputable company in the US, maybe, but the machine was built by somebody in Taiwan, India, China, somewhere else. They're sleeping when you're awake.
and they don't care about your cabinet shop in India.
They really don't care who you are in India. At the end of the day, you're nobody to them.
Yep.
You know what they care about? Building machines every day, all day, and selling machines. They don't care if Jake in Tennessee is pissed off. They don't care. Guess what? 90% of people don't care. You know why? Because they don't have to. But the difference is, if you buy an engineered product in the U.S., they have to care about who you are in Tennessee. They have to care about who you are in Arizona, right? They that's all important to them because at the end of the day, it's their business, right? It's their lifeline.
Well, it's like that customer I just talked to this morning. He's got a machine down. He's not going to see a motor for it for 32 weeks. 32 weeks.
Three
he's gonna be
quarters of
down
a year.
because he bought an imported product.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
And it was just one motor.
It was just one motor. He said it was a servo motor. It went bad, and they are not going to have it to him. And that's an estimation. 32 weeks.
my favorite part was where they told him they have one in stock on a machine, and they were going to take it off that machine, but somebody wanted to buy that machine, so
Yep.
they're going to get that machine out the door.
True story.
So they literally put their customer that's in the field behind making more money. Like, oh, I know you have our product, and you're down. You can wait 32 weeks because we have a product to sell to somebody else.
They already got his money. They're on to the next guy.
Isn't that crazy? But that's the difference between what's designed here and by the company you're buying it from versus what's designed by somebody else and then passed through to you. But people don't believe these stories. These are the stories we tell people and they think it's just a mean sales guy saying something, right? No, it's us speaking the truth of experience, And when you compare this to your sign shop, your cabinet shop, your fabrication shop, whatever you do, there are big box stores out there that sell your product you do. Do they not?
Yes.
You can go buy exactly what I buy from your business as well for a fraction of the cost at these big box stores or online at Amazon or all these other online outfits, right? But are they the same quality as what I'm getting from you? 99% of the time, no.
Probably not.
There's a reason why you exist, right? There's a reason why that I should come to your shop and buy your cabinet, your sign, have you fabricate my parts. It's the service, it's the people, it's what happens after the product's delivered, and it is the care for the product. When you design that sign, you're making sure it fits within my city regulations or it fits within the space I have. You care about who I am, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something that people just, I think, don't think about. They look outside their own window and they just go, how can I save money? They don't think about, like, where am I costing myself more? And, same is to be considered about buying shop equipment itself. ShopSabre as an example, right? If they're sold by a distributor or an importer, they don't care as much, right? They don't have to care as much.
Right.
They're not on the hook. It's easy for them to say, oh, I'm so sorry, Tim. I don't know what wrong there. I'll have to call the supplier and find out. Right? Mm-hmm. He's not the bad guy. He's going to pass it on to the supplier and make the supplier's problem. It's a bunch of finger pointing. But guess what? Your sales guy can't do a thing for you. He's just going to make you feel warm and fuzzy. I'm doing everything I can over here. No, he's not. He made a phone call and they told him to go pound sand. Now he's going to wait 2 days to tell you.
Yep.
That's what he did, Like, at the end of the day, and the difference buying from a product designer, again, if you're a cabinet shop and you build cabinets and it doesn't fit together right, are you going to install that in my house?
Probably not.
No, you're probably going to fix the cabinet, right? Because you got to be the guy that comes out and installs it.
Yep.
But if I'm a big box store and I just build cabinets, is there a chance that some of these cabinets might not fit together the right way?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because guess what? Is Home Depot coming to install that cabinet?
No.
No, they don't care, right? There's certain things that you can look at that you're going to pay more for quality, right? And in today's world, everything that's going on, it's so easy to, oh my God, I'm not going to spend more money. I'm going to be cheap. It's the worst time to be cheap. If you're going to be cheap when the economy's good and the money's flowing in and if the product goes to shit, you can just replace it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Not when you have limited funds. The money you spend today is more critical than the money you spent 2 years ago.
For sure.
Peace to you too, brother.
I thought I was throwing up gang signs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, all I know is Kyle threw up 2 fingers at
Only
me.
way
So.
I know how to illustrate the number 20.
Oh, that's what it was. Got it.
He visited Duluth for a weekend and came back a gangbanger.
He was in a snowstorm, Chad. He wasn't able to leave his hotel.
Dirty.
Oh, came back a gangbanger. That's funny. But you know what's? It would have been funnier there had everybody had a camera on us and seen that he just threw up 2 fingers at me, and I'm just gonna say peace back to him. Like that's all that came to mind for me. But yeah, back on topic. So, you know what, Kyle, you're very distracting.
Sorry for our viewers at home.
But no, in all seriousness, though, obviously, with what we do here, we do take a lot of product design into consideration. Like why are we designing it a certain way? How are we designing it? We don't just make. I've had people, and it happens more than you guys probably even know, but I get messages on Facebook, right? And customers are they make their suggestions, which I love. I love when I hear suggestions from a customer because it allows me to think outside the box, right? I don't know what I don't know, and especially when I'm not using the product in the real world every day. Like if I see some stuff that, hey, that's a good idea. But sometimes people get so mad because I don't respond immediately. Like they'll send me like hey, you should do this. And then I'll say, oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll look into it, right?
Yep.
And then obviously we look into it, and sometimes it takes some time. Obviously, engineers got to do some stuff, and I play with things. And sometimes their suggestion just doesn't work for our particular situation, right? Your suggestion would work great if I sold to just sign makers, right?
Yep.
Problem is I sell machines to sign makers and cabinet makers. And while it works for sign making, it might mess something up for the cabinet guys or vice versa. And people get so mad about it because like, oh, you need to do something now. People want new things. And it's like, trust me, I'm always working on new things. Guys, answer it. How often am I working on new things around here?
Always.
Like, I probably spend more of my time in research and development than I do any other part of our business, correct?
For sure.
Like, it's literally what we spend a majority of our time trying to do. We're always trying to innovate and keep things moving forward. And yeah, it's not always splashes and flashes and wow. Like, it's not noticeable changes always. Sometimes it's subtle changes, but it's to continuously improve the product and our quality and our support. But people want these like, oh, you need to do this immediately. And they think they have the answer, right? Because they saw one other person do it. And it's like, if the world was that easy, I would have already done it.
Right.
Like, it's not. Sometimes it does take some engineering and it does take some thought process behind it because I'm designing the product. I can't just go to a supplier and say, give me this and make them do it.
Well, and you don't want to have the customer be the test dummy, Just send the product out there because they wanted it, and all of a sudden they're mad at you because it didn't work properly.
Yeah, you hand them a product and you're just like, you like that? You like that? And then the product falls apart. And then you're like, oh, well, that didn't work out as I expected,
Yep.
Like, no, you got to make sure it's right, and that's what the difference is between importing and distribution versus engineering and design, right? When you get into a product design, you get into the user experience and must understand the end user's expectations and needs. And then, the feedback you get from your customers or from the end user will help you as you grow and move forward. I mean, we've been doing this 23 years. Think of all the data we have gathered over 23 years in the thousands of machines that are out there. Now think about a new company. They don't have that same data.
Right.
So they come to market with something that might seem like, wow, look at that. It's crazy new. Like, there's a reason why like all the major players probably aren't doing it. We've learned already.
Yep.
We've played with it before. We've done it. We had a guy that came to us and wanted us to build a custom machine. He wanted us to put a laser head on a router. And we looked at it and it's like, yeah, we've done it. It's not new to us. Like, he acted like it was something new and I can't believe you wouldn't do it. We did it 10 years ago. I stopped building lasers 10 years ago and I stopped putting lasers and routers together because of all the headaches the customers had from a performance aspect. And there's a reason why you don't see most of the major manufacturers putting large lasers. We have a lot of marking lasers that some of us have started to use, but they're diode lasers. They're not CO2 lasers with mirrors and optics because the dust and the debris in those environments they contaminate it. So it's things that people don't think about, but it's easy for a company that buys product to say, yeah, we'll do it. Because all they're doing is combining products and they don't have to worry about it. They didn't engineer anything. They've never tested it. You're going to test it and find out the hard way. And so, again, you got to think about your cabinet shop or your sign shop, for example. If you design something and you ask your customers for approval before you cut it, right? You build a cabinet and you say, hey, do you like this? And then you cut the product and install it, right? Now consider if you just designed it and installed it, never asked them their opinion. What's the likelihood that customers are going to be 100% happy all the time?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Right? I mean, you get an estimate. I've done it. I've gotten work done on my house or I've gotten things done for our business here, and I rarely approve the first design. It's not that they did a bad job, but it's just not what I had in mind, right? It's not what I was thinking. Do that with people's houses now, right? Go into somebody's house and just install a kitchen. Just you choose it. You pick the material, you pick the design and the colors, you go install it. Probably not going to go so hot.
No.
Like now that's what you're doing with these CNC machines that people are buying overseas. They're literally installing sight unseen product. Yet they're expecting 100% satisfaction. It's not going to happen.
No way.
That's the difference with ShopSabre. When I install a product, I'm expecting that satisfaction when it shows up and works. I expect the machine to work, right? I'm pissed if something doesn't work, right?
Right.
And you guys are going to be pissed. Customers are going to be pissed because you expect me to hold myself to a higher standard. It's because I'm American made. You know that there's quality behind that. That's why you bought it. And so, importing products is the easy part, is it not?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And the design, engineering, and all the work that goes into it before it gets imported is done at a fraction of cost when you import, right? Mm-hmm. It's not at the same level because they design something for mass production. And that mass production lowers the cost then, obviously. And obviously they spread out the cost of engineering across multiple products. They also spend less time engineering it, right? Because it's mass production.
Yep.
They're appeasing to the masses, not to an industry. And so, generally speaking, it comes with a different level of understanding, does it not?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
The company designing the product has less worry about the end user, as we said. The guy over in India doesn't care who Jake in Tennessee is at. He doesn't care where he's at from a mental standpoint, doesn't care where he's at from an approval standpoint, doesn't care about his satisfaction. Doesn't matter to him. And the reality is, Jake's not going to slam the company in China or India. He's going to go slam the reseller. So-and-so's machine sucks. They don't tag the guy that actually sucked,
Right.
Like, they know that.
That could be the fun time that Jake found out his machine was imported.
A lot of times that is, unfortunately. It is. We've seen that, have we not?
Many
but
times.
you think about that. The designing the product is not the worry. They don't care, And you're never going to, connect with them, for lack of a better explanation. It's not their problem. Simple as that. I mean, any feedback, any thoughts that come to mind with that stuff?
I think it's a common thing we hear about.
Isn't that sad? It's common.
It's common.
But, let's talk about the support for a moment now, right? We've talked about engineering. We've talked about designs. We've gotten to the point where, okay, now we all understand we should design something ourselves, right? Like, it's something to think about. But what about the support aspect of things, right? Tech support, product support, installation, all that fun stuff that goes along with it. All these things that your customer, has to consider when they're buying something, right? Mm-hmm. If they're buying a product from you or not buying a product from you, a lot of time is more than just the product, but it is some of that support that comes along with your product, right?
For sure.
I mean, how many of you guys have bought products because of the warranty?
All the time.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You compare it, right? Mm-hmm. It's something you think about, like how's that warranty versus the other warranty, right? Mm-hmm. If a product comes with a warranty versus a product without a warranty.
Can I extend the warranty or not?
Yeah. But I mean, some of that stuff will make a difference in your decision. If I tell you, here's product A, here's product B, this one has a warranty, this one doesn't have a warranty, you're going to naturally gravitate to the ones that comes with warranty and support, right?
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we've all agreed support's important. So of course, everybody in the industry today now offers support, right? Believe it or not, that used to be an optional thing. Did you know that?
I did
Or
not.
they charge for it like monthly.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of that. And now there's a lot less of them that charge monthly, but they're still out there. There's still some of them that charge you. But you know what blows me away is there's so many of these bigger machines, they call them, right? Bigger machines that are more expensive that only give you support for 3 years. And after 3 years, you start paying.
Seen that.
Like, think about that. You spent more money and you got less support.
Or they just stopped supporting it because they moved on to a different model or a different make of a different machine.
There's a lot of fine print writing in a lot of these warranties that people say will support for life or until what do they call it? Discontinuation of product. So for life or until discontinuation. So as soon as we stop building the product, you can't get support anymore on it. That seems kind of sketchy, doesn't it?
For sure. Especially if you're spending X amount of dollars on a machine that you're not getting support on in a few years.
How long have we been in business, guys?
23 plus.
23 years and counting. Going on 24. Guess what? First machine we ever built. Still in the field running today. And we still talk to that person, do we not?
Oh, yeah.
So you show me a product imported that's going to be running in 23 years.
Not going to happen.
Ain't going to happen. And and I shouldn't say that. There's some import products that are from a higher quality country, right? And let's say that.
Right.
I'm talking, when I say import products, I'm talking about cheaply imported products. I'm,
Yep.
built for cheap, not for quality,
Yep.
But, you have to think about that because, I certainly know, with shop equipment, support and warranty are two of the biggest talking points that there are. Like nobody wants to buy a product and then have it fail to perform and have nobody to talk to, right? It's a big gamble. It's like buying a brand new car and them telling you like there's no support or warranty on it. Nobody wants to spend that investment and then not be able to get taken care of. The issue with the products that are not designed by the person that's selling you it is they're reliant themselves on the other people who did design the product and engineer it to support the product. And thus you have less of a guarantee. Because if you can't get a hold of who sold it to you, or they stop building the parts, or they discontinue the machine, you're going to end up with a big giant paperweight in your shop. And, who supports the product best?
People who build it.
People who build it, right? Yeah. I mean, nobody understands the product better than the guy who actually did the work, right? Mm-hmm. It's again, goes back to those things. Have you ever tried, having an electrician come in and look at wiring of something he didn't wire?
I have not.
Okay, well, I bought a house and we had an electrical issue, right? And trying to diagnose, and he was very good at what he did. But given that, he's like, I don't know where this connects to. I'll have to figure this out. And he traced it, obviously, but it spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. Compared to if the guy had just wired the house, he would have known where those wires went and knew where the issue is, right? It's that same sort of mentality that like, try having a tech guy work on a tech problem that he didn't design, that he didn't have any way to go back and look at. Like our tech guys can walk out on the floor and look at our machines that we're building right now, right? Talk to the guys who are actually building machines. Imagine being in a company that can't do that. You walk into the closet, like where you walking? There's nothing out there.
So I had a similar instance like that. I bought a house and replaced a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And the new dishwasher had a plug-in. You had to actually hardwire, or you had to actually have a plug to plug into a wall circuit. I pull out the dishwasher, and mind you, I don't know what the heck I'm doing anyhow, but I went through it, and they had it hardwired with wire ties to the dishwasher, and it just was a cable that ran to the basement. So I had to figure out where that cable went, and it was tied into just a random outlet. So then I had to figure out how to shut off the power to that outlet. I bought a little light socket deal that you could test whether the power is on or off, and I had to wire in a junction box so it was legal, and I could even hook it up. Again, who was I going to call? Call the guy that owned the machine 19 years ago and say, dude, what the hell did you do here? Yeah. I did it myself.
Exactly. And that's the thing is the best way to think about it is, like I said, you go buy a product from a big box store, and ask the sales associate a technical question, right? They'll likely be able to answer 50% of what you want them to know, right? You ask them a bunch of technical questions go to Best Buy, go to Ace Hardware, go ask these guys technical questions. They're not going to know the technical specs of all these products that you're looking at, right? Because they're just paid to sell them.
Yep.
But now, go buy a product for someone who custom builds what you're looking for, right? Cabinets as an example. Go ask the custom cabinet builder the specs of his cabinet. I bet he knows all the specs, right?
Absolutely.
It's the difference in buying something from a box store or an importer or reseller versus buying it from the actual person doing the work. It's the same sort of thing with ShopSabre. When you buy a CNC machine from us versus one of our competitors, even if they're a quote-unquote American company, because there's so many companies claiming American-made that just aren't truly, but let's just say they are one of these American-made companies. If they're not doing the work in-house, they still are reliant on somebody else, right?
Correct.
We see videos of some of our competitors showing off their mills. It's amazing how many people showed off their mills after we showed our mill off, right? But
Yeah.
They show this mill off, right? But it's magically not in their building. So who's doing the milling? Somebody else. You're paying somebody else to do it. So you're reliant on somebody else. So again, if something's not right, you can't just walk out to the shop and ask the mill guy what's going on. Same goes for electrical control boxes or, the frame components that you're buying. Those guys can't talk about things they didn't do. We can talk about the things that we do, right?
Yep.
It's a lot harder to find a topic we can't talk about given the fact that we build our machines, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of things that we do to try to preserve that support aspect of things. And, the importance of product design and support in the USA, the world's changed. And we've talked about this a lot, and I will continue to talk about it. I will talk about it all the way through the world rebounding, because the world's changing every single day. And we do this still to this day because people don't think about their product decisions enough. They're just not. And people are so blind to these cheap prices and the marketing materials and all the crap that's out in the industry right now because they're missing the importance of support aspect, the product design aspect of it. You know, and think about it, your cabinet shop, your sign shop. Like, you're competing against people that you've never competed against before because people are willing to spend less money right now. Like, I guarantee it. If you're sitting there listening to this right now, you're thinking about, man, we have been going up against so-and-so more lately. And it's because they offer cheap prices, not because they offer a better product. People are openly admitting they're buying products knowing it's not as good of a product.
Yep.
A year ago, people weren't doing that.
For sure.
And so the fact that people are willing to take that step back makes it realize that, like, you got to take more time with your customers. And people need to, you as the customer need to think about what you're doing because, again, no import product should be the same price as a USA made product, right? Or even
shouldn't even be close.
Yeah, I was just gonna say even close. Thank you, Chad, because people are blinded by this cheap price stuff right now, and it's cheaper than your product. It's really not that much cheaper when you think about it. Like, if you can buy a USA made product within 20% of an imported product, you should do it.
100%.
There's no way an import product should be only 20% or less different. If you're talking about 20%, I mean, if you're not saving 100% right now, you're literally spending too much money.
Wait till that machine's down for 32 weeks because you can't get a motor.
That's my point. If you can't justify the downtime, the expenses later on, then it's not worth buying. Is that 20% worth 32 weeks of lost business?
Probably put you out of business.
A lot of places it would.
Yeah.
Who are you going to sue? You don't even know who built the machine.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, like, you're going to go after the importer? They're just going to pass the buck.
Yep.
You bought it from an importer. They're going to say, yeah, I'm sorry, we can't control where the stock is. You have to deal with them. Like, they're going to pass that on. Like, you don't realize that. So, you get a lot more engineering, design, support. How much is that success worth to you? Or how much is your success worth to you?
More than 20%.
Right?
Well, honestly, if you're hoping to be in business for more than 2 years, you should probably spend that little additional. Otherwise, again, 32 weeks down because of a simple motor failure, you're done.
Got it. And that's exactly it. Like, you're 100% right.
That's crazy to think about that long for a motor.
32 weeks.
One motor.
One motor on your machine.
The whole machine can't run.
Fortunately, this particular guy has a buddy with a CNC, but now you're paying your buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. For people who are 32 weeks, they just hear that number. It's 8 months. 8 months that you're down. So that means you're waiting for a machine part until August of next year.
Seems like that would be kind of a guess if they're saying it's 8 months.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, they really have no idea. They're
That's what he said, estimated.
throwing out a long number. They know it's not going to be 6 months. They're just saying,
Yeah.
don't call us for the next 6 months.
That's what I was going to get to. Is that it might get it sooner, right?
Yeah.
But they're literally telling you not to call them. We told you 8 months. Like, it's not 8 months yet. Like, they're literally putting you in a situation where you're going to be down and out.
So in 8 months, you're not going to have another machine with that same motor?
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
they're literally telling you that, we had one, but we sold it. Are they literally saying they're not going to have another machine come in the next 8 months? No. You know what they said? We're not going to take it off of one of the future machines. Or we discontinued what you have and we can't get it on a new machine.
Now think of this scenario. You took out financing on that machine.
Oh, my God.
Now your machine's down, your business is down.
It hurts.
You no longer can even pay your machine payment because you got the cheaper product.
How about a beer?
That's what I'd be doing.
Spend the rest of your money on that.
Yep.
I'll just have 4 to 5 beers to stop the shaking, and then I'll go outside.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that's scary.
It made me sad just hearing it.
It is. It's sad, but it's one of those things where it's like, that's why I do what I do here. That's why I spend so much time and energy building machines here in the United States. And that's why all of us, I don't know what's going on here. I have a cable that's attacking me from Kyle's computer. I just got attacked. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. But what I was saying, like, that's why we spend so much time and energy in the design aspect of things and why we don't just make, quick decisions to change things and add things. I mean, we have people inside the building that have said, like, we should add this product. Like, we got to look at it. Like, there's a reason. We got to see what the market looks like for that. What's our demand for it? What do we do versus what other people do? Why are we doing what we're doing? Just because somebody even in the building says we should do something doesn't mean we jump to it, right? We got to look at how it affects the company as a whole. And the big thing for us is customers, like satisfaction. We want people happy. Happy, happy, happy.
I was just thinking that for some reason.
That's funny. But it's one of those things where you don't want people to be, excited about your product. You get it out there and then it lets them down. That's worse,
It's a lot worse.
Yeah. I mean, you don't overcome that as easy. So I know we all got a lot going on right now. So, I'm going to kind of keep this episode kind of short. But, again, product design and support is, something that's important to all of us, obviously. And it should be important to you too. We should all be asking ourselves what's important to our businesses when we're making decisions. And, treat yourself as you would expect your customers to be treated. And what I mean by that is your customers are buying from you for a reason. Mm-hmm. It should be the same reason you're buying from your vendors, right?
Yep.
It's that support. It's that quality. It's that relationship. They buy from you for your product quality and your support more than likely. I'm guessing a majority of people listening to this aren't selling on price. And you should expect the same for the tools that you're buying and the products you use and the materials you depend on and all this stuff that goes into your business. You got to be thinking about the same thing. So that's what I got, right?
Got to think about the year-end specials and incentives we have going right now, too.
That's true. We do. We have, 7 days left or something like that? 7 business days?
Don't say it.
7 business days, I think is
Not
what's
enough.
left. Crazy. 7 business days left, and then 2023 pricing comes out. Mm-hmm. Like, think about that. You have 7 days to take advantage of the lowest prices of the year. They're not going to be that low in January. There you go. That was a whisper. I whispered to everybody.
The other thing to keep in mind, too, is lead times. Right now, we are at the lowest lead times that we've had in, I would say, years? And
I would say so. I mean, I hope so because I spent a crap ton of money this year trying to make sure of it. So.
But the other key thing to keep in mind, too, for customers that are listening in is that the lead times today are going to be different than the lead times I'm going to tell you probably next Monday. I mean, because between now and then, we're probably going to sell, another 100 machines? I mean, the reality of it
at the rate we're going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that, lead times are low, best price ever, tax incentives, get your purchase in before the 30th.
Yeah, I mean.
Section 179.
Section 170, yeah, true. Tax advantages, all the sales. I mean, honestly, we could go on and on about the reasons you should do something right now, but quality and support is what I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
Beyond everything. I mean, you're just getting bonuses of the prices and the incentives. But honestly, the quality and support's worth it in itself. There's nothing out there right now that can match the value you can get right now from a ShopSabre.
Absolutely.
Even with how busy we are right now, I just spent 1 hour and 11 minutes on the phone with a customer that wanted to make the decision before the year end. I'm going to give you the time. That's what I told him. I said, it doesn't matter how busy I am.
If you don't think we are the best value, let us prove it.
Exactly.
That's right.
No, that's true. Like, what do you have to lose, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me that you found a better product. Give me a chance to prove myself wrong.
Talk to a sales consultant, and then you'll see the difference between a sales guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, if you're on your phone, though, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Check out our Sabre Nation groups on Facebook if you're a current customer. Always posting new content daily. Always looking for new stuff to post. If you're a client, send it my way. Get you Facebook famous.
Woo! Dude, killed it.
What about TikTok famous?
Definitely TikTok famous. That's an overnight fame right there.
Right? We're going to start a trend.
Skyrocket your company. I will tag you.
There we go. You hear that? You're getting tagged. I don't know what that means.
You're it.
Tag, you're it. Tag us back.
Don't tag me.
Don't tag me. Don't tag me. Just kidding. Tag me. That was good, Kyle. I love how we were all talking about end of the year, and Kyle's like, I'm getting my thing. Hey, guys, follow me on Facebook. I love
Always
it.
plug
Like
in.
a picture.
Always plug in.
Like something. That's funny. Send me an emoji.
Do something.
Do something.
Any
Anything
hate comments.
besides
I'll take
nothing.
hate comments.
All right.
Any engagement
Privately.
is good engagement.
Send a hate comment about Travis. But no, I mean, honestly, this is who we are, right? We have fun. We're excited that I think next year we're going to revamp the podcast room. We're getting to the end of it. I think next Tuesday is our last podcast for the year. Maybe. We might not even be here next week, being honest with everybody. If you don't see an episode next Tuesday, don't be sad. It's the end of the year and things get crazy. So based on volume, we may just not have the time to jump on. And then we will be down and out for a few weeks as we kick off January. I'm doing a little traveling, so I won't be around. And obviously these guys are going to be trying to keep things going, but I don't know that we'll have a couple, for the couple weeks at the start of 2023, some episodes. So don't worry. We're just taking a small break. We're not disappearing on you. We'll be back with more episodes in 2023. We're excited. Like I said, we're revamping the podcast room and hoping that in 2023, we're going to be rolling out a camera so you can see us. Chad's super excited about that.
Better throw a nail in that paneling so they don't see that.
Dude, that wall's falling apart. I saw that today. What is going on over there?
I think you should clean the table.
I said we're getting a new table.
Oh.
Remember, we're getting rid of this old janky thing.
Isn't this a table that if you lean on it, it'll fall
Yeah,
on
don't
you?
lean on it. Just look at it. It's for looks only, guys. It's a looking table, not a leaning table. Haven't you heard of a looking table? We also have this sign that needs to get hung up.
Just kind of chilling.
It's just, we got this Talkin Shop sign that we made, and it's just chilling here.
Looks nice, though.
It does, doesn't it? We should get that hung up. So we'll hang that up. We'll get a new table.
Pin up the wall.
We'll do something with a wall pinning up, and then
Bust out a 4K camera. We all get to
4K
see
cam.
Travis's pores.
Can we do 2K? I just don't feel like we have a 4K worth of group here. I've always said I got a face for radio. This is not going to be my favorite thing. Like I said, we might shoot some segments where, the nice thing about it is being able to pull some things up on the screen and show you some of the stuff we talk about next year. We're going to try to get some more guests on the show next year. So right now we're taking suggestions. So make sure you go out and post. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kyle, we're going to have a post coming up in the next couple of weeks here asking for submitting ideas for 2023 podcast subjects, right?
Yeah, certainly.
So
Certainly.
once we get that post up there, it might even be up this week. I don't even know. But once we get up there, throw in your suggestions. We want to know about what you want to hear about, who you want us to go talk to. If there's a company that you want to hear more about, let us know. We'll start getting more people on the show next year. We're trying to grow this thing too, and we want to make sure that you, the audience, is getting what you need out of it. So again, we appreciate you guys talking shop with us all year long. We may be back next week with a really short episode, but more than likely we're going to have a few weeks off here, and then we'll be back with you around the middle of January. So if we don't talk to anybody, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and obviously be safe for the new year. So appreciate you guys talking shop with me. I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Kyle.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.